Soccerverse, bro. And if you don't like and subscribe, your bag will dump forever down. Yo!
For Andy G, when will the SVC trade section under the influence tab work for UK users?
Yeah, we aren't too sure at the moment. There is some we need to sort of work on some legal issues with that, but we're not too sure. We don't have a time for that, unfortunately.
I think we're working on that one hard and as quick as possible for that side. So next question from Gordy for either one of you. Will there be more European competitions added later? Only one team in the Netherlands currently qualifies for Europe competition. So in real life, there's 6. So again, high level question is, will there be more European competitions?
We haven't got any immediate plans for that. We would like to maybe do a cup winners cup. That was one that we discussed for the cup winners going in. But yeah, we at the moment we haven't, and also like a more of a, what do you call it, a Europa League, and we will consider that. We would like to put those in, but it won't be for a while because I believe we'd have to do a fork for that, and it'd be a bit planning if we did that. But we don't have any immediate plans, but we would like to.
Cool. Cool. And then there's a couple of questions. One from Lil. Again, apologies again, same as last time. That might butcher some of these usernames, but Lil Pimmy TUK and Backman SUFC. Basically, the overall question is, will there ever be more freedom in tactics? For example, adding player roles, other instructions. I think it would really put managers to the test if they have knowledge to lead the team. And again, Backman's SUFC is asked the similar question of, can match tactics evolve?
Yeah, I mean, we would like, and we're planning to upgrade the match engine in the future, and that could be part of that advanced, more tactics options and stuff. Is what do you think, Snailbrain? That's fair to say, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're redoing completely the match engine, aren't we? So, there'll be things like you'll probably be able to place your players anywhere on the pitch, and not use like the set formations and then all those other options as well. Like target man and all that sort of stuff, which we can add in.
Cool. And then there's one question from XPeer COC. Are we ever going to see SVC being used to buy packs?
No. I mean, you can buy obviously influence from other people with it, but it won't make sense for the business model really to do that. I think. I don't know if you agree with that, Andy.
Yeah, I think that's correct. Yeah.
Cool. This is a good one from Pisa Manager. One for Andy G. Can we increase the number of transfers per season?
We can, yeah. As I mentioned in the presentation part, that we do have the ability to change. So we've got set parameters that we're able to configure on the fly, and that is one of them. And the ideal state of the game would be higher transfer limits and also transfer bid amounts as well, the upper caps. So yeah, we would like to get that, but it's just the time of when we can do it, when the game's more the full the game gets, the more possibility we can do that.
Cool. Great stuff. From 99 stars with a Z. There's a few questions, but I kind of try rattle through them. How will you think wCHI will keep the value when you buy packs with USD but rewards them with wCHI? That's fantasy.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a question for this, but I think it's just unrelated. How you think wCHI will keep value? Yeah, I think that's unrelated, and we're not discussing price speculation or anything like that in this meeting.
Cool. And then, so we go from Lone Fox. I think yeah, Lone Fox. The plans to optimize player rating calculations. At the moment, again, I won't go through the full example, but at the moment, players in Brazil are severely underrated versus, let's say, other players in different leagues who may have not played for a while, etc. So yeah, basically, plans to optimize player rating calculations.
We do. Sorry,
Go
on.
on. No, go on.
Yeah, I was gonna say we at the end of every season the formulas that we calculate the player ratings from can be adapted slightly if there's issues.
Yeah, and they're not like so yeah. So the way that the player ratings work is essentially we've got millions of fixtures from the past, and we give points for how many, like in the last 18 months, for example, how many shots this person's had on target, how many goals they've scored. So everything like there is based on real life stats, and it's the same formula for all players. But to get it obviously right, nobody is going to. Not everybody's ever going to agree on the player rating. So that's one thing that we can never get right, because that's just football, and that's why people like the game, because everyone thinks their team or player is better than someone else's. But like one thing on that one, where if it's like particular, like Brazil is low, that could be something which we could look at, because although we calculate these things like how many shots on target and all that sort of stuff, the rating is also based on the club that they've been at in those 18 months, or if they've been at two clubs, then like an average between them. So if a player's at a very, very good club, then he gets like sort of like a base rating which is bigger than a club what's not. So because it's hard to judge how well countries are clubs are across countries, like Division 2 in Spain versus Division 2 in England, it's going to be a bit like a guesswork, because they've never played each other. So although we use like an ELO ranking system and we can sort of rank clubs in a country, when you do it across country, we've had to sort of, which is in the light paper, we have had to fix some numbers to say, like we've made the top 5 countries in the world the same multiplier. People might say, yeah, England has got the better league, so it should have had a little bit more, but just to keep it like simple, Italy, Spain, England, France, and somebody else, that they have like the same multipliers. So the best players in those leagues will be about the same. But then when you start going into the other countries like Brazil, we've had to say things like Brazil's 50% as good as England. So then that multiplier affects all those ratings there, and that is a number which, people are not going to agree with, and because like with the player stats and things, we can just say like, look, this is what it is. These are the numbers. Let's tweak the formula. But this things across countries, we might need to bring that to the community at maybe the end of the season when we open source the code, and we can have a bit of back and forth to see how good a country is versus another country. But it is going to be a sore point where not everybody's going to agree on. So yeah, that's that one.
Cool. Cool stuff. Another one from Omega Wolf. Will there be more opportunities added to burn SVC with the goal of getting more stable and less inflation?
Yeah, it's like just basically that's what the call was about as well. With what they called Andy's presentation is, not everybody can. If everybody's just making SMC, it's just inflation out of control. It's not going to work. There has to be some balances. We can't have too much inflation or not enough inflation. So the way that the SVC is going to be burnt is, there's a couple of ways. So if you've got money as a player, a user, you can spend it on player influence, and that sort of gets burnt there and then. However, you do get that back, so it might take 10 years to get it back, plus a bit of extra. But the real way is putting it into clubs. So once the influence dilution event's enabled, then you can put that SVC back into the clubs, which will dilute those, and then it's out of the players' hands. And then with the clubs, because they're trading with each other and getting like you could say like a tax 5% fee every time there's someone's on the transfer market, that gets burnt from the system. And on top of that as well, any clubs that buy from the free bench, the influence is burnt there as well. And then in the future, where we'll hopefully show you a roadmap in the coming months. You can, oh God, where was it? Yeah, we want to add in things like stadiums and things like that. So nothing's been concrete there with that. But for example, you could have a stadium, put SVC into the stadium. It could be burnt, and then you own some of the stadium, and you could also pay to upgrade it and things like that, so you can increase your fan base and things. So there are some other things we've got flying around, but at the moment we're just making sure that what we've got already, what we believe is working, is actually working, which we'll know closer to the end of the season or after the end of the season. Because although we have done a lot of simulations of the economy to see how everything is working, human behaviour is something that is very hard to guess. So those sort of things are what we're monitoring at the moment.
Cool. Awesome. And then next question from Judaism FC. How do you see Soccerverse maintain its sustainability in the medium to long term? Income is obviously obtained through sales of packs, but with high amounts of SVC rewarded weekly and ability to trade PvP for influence in clubs does not cut out the revenue stream for the company. So I think mainly just a question of maintaining sustainability in the medium to long term.
Yeah, the medium term really is the club influence, of course, and there's quite a lot of that to sell. And then there is what's the other one? Snowbird is the what's it called? The transaction thing.
Oh right, on the
revenue.
Yeah. So for the trading on the Democrat, you mean?
Yeah.
So on the Democrat trading, where you can do the trustless trading of SVC to wCHI, there's a 5%. I think it's 5%. A 5% fee there. So there is that. There's the selling of the packs, and then obviously we'll come up with some other things as we progress. Like where before I said about the stadiums where you put SVC in. There could be other ways or things to do there. But yeah, we'll hopefully expand on that.
Yeah. No, I think just to add to that as well. Obviously, we this is a long-term project, so as we develop and grow, not just from a game perspective, but also we want to be doing more with the real football world, right? Doing whether it's more partnerships, obviously marketing, and all those kind of good things. So, but not only that, as kind of Andy mentioned, what I'm more excited about is things like if we when and if we do a live match engine and add stadiums, etc. I think ultimately it'll just grow not just the game but the audience, etc. So I think a lot of exciting stuff for not just even the short but the medium to long term. Cool. Okay, next question, which I can take. Why is Square Enix never posted anything? I mean, I think overall the question is more about they have a lot of followers and interest to attract more people. So, in theory, why can't we leverage this? Just a quick one from kind of my side. Obviously, Square Enix are a great partner of ours. They're an investor. So they're not a publisher per se. So, they're not publishing our game, which means not that they can't do market support. Obviously, we've done some activity and, a press release for them, etc. But, at the moment, it's not part of the partnership with Square Enix as they're not publishing that game. So I think just a quick answer on that one. But I don't know, Andy C or Andy G, anything to add to that?
No, really.
Cool. No,
I don't think. No.
Awesome. Next question. Has Soccerverse considered listing on Epic Games Store to reach a wider audience? Funny enough, actually, I'll take this one. It was discussed even this week. I mean, there are I say an idea and kind of thoughts about putting it on an Epic store and any kind of platform, game store really, where applicable and where relevant. I think Epic Game Store is more particular, right, because they welcome blockchain Web3 games. So it's definitely on the radar. Again, it's just finding the right avenues and the priorities, given, again, our gradual growth at the moment. So it's on the radar. Cool. And then what is your stance on including Club Influence Pack in short-term game bundle, like those on Humble Bundle or similar platforms? Do you see it as a viable option? I'm going to throw over to maybe Andy C on this one. Just more, I'd say from a...
Yeah, sorry. I should have read these questions. Does this mean like buy this country bundle and you get it and it's a bit cheaper? Is that what it means? Or what does it mean?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I would read it as yeah, exactly. It's like basic bundling and maybe even selling bundles or packs on different platforms, right?
All right. Oh yeah. I don't know about on the platforms, but for the packs themselves, it's one thing that we wanted to do, and maybe we'll add that in. You know, he's had some different packs. Like, you know, one of the ideas was Monster Pack, which like includes like a, you know, different tiers of influence altogether. But yeah, things like that will be coming, and even maybe potential promos, but nothing like, you know, nothing that's like, oh, I'm going to wait for the promo, but we'll do something to you know, make it a little bit less boring is the correct word, of just being like a static shop. Yeah, like some variation in there. So instead of like maybe getting them all in one tier, maybe you can get a bundle across different tiers, or maybe it's just a certain tier in a certain country or something like that. Obviously there's more work to that to be done, because when you buy these packs, everything's done by smart contracts on the blockchain, and everything's, you know, all connected up and to the front end and stuff. So just adding them in at the moment is not as simple as just like changing a few numbers. It's quite complex, but it is something we will do in the future.
Nice. Cool. Okay, next question. This is more from point of our side. Do you plan to do some marketing this season, or is it just solving bugs and setting everything up? Or is it a plan to do a proper marketing campaign for next season? So, yeah, I mean, look, we've done some marketing activations. We've worked with some partners, particularly not just creating some content, but on the media side to kind of grow our user acquisition. So at the moment, and also doing some influencer work as well. So at the moment, we're still learning just generally about our audiences and obviously how to speak to them, whilst also getting new user acquisition. So at the moment, from a internal perspective, we're just trying to find the best ways really to tailor to those both challenges, right? One being new user acquisition, which we're heavily looking into at the moment, but also the right type of audiences, but also kind of marketing and education within that current community. So because we've got a new raft of people coming on, a new wave of people coming in, which has been really positive. We've grown you know, all the user base by a considerable amount. So ultimately now at the moment, and, you know, we've seen in all the Discord, etc., is, you know, people wanting to understand a little bit more about the game, obviously with the great help of you guys, the community, has been helping us out with this one. But also, again, from our side, just trying to work out where the best levers to pull are, but also, again, creating general content. You would have seen a beginner's guide, for example, more for new users. But ultimately, there's a lot of content being created at the moment. But then steering on to kind of the next part of the question, in theory, is that obviously season 2, obviously coming up in July. You know, at the moment, this season as a whole is somewhat a bit of a soft launch in theory. But ultimately, you know, the next season will be a lot more substantial in the form of more users. We'll have a lot more learnings and insights, and again, how players like you guys react and, you know, enjoy the game and play the game. So we'll definitely be ramping up for the next season, but we'll also do activity in the meantime as well. So cool. Okay, next question. Sorry, that was the last one, and this one is also from Soccerverse Portugal. When real football matches for Soccerverse users, I assume that's, again, another question as always, as a live match engine.
Oh, is that what it means?
I that's how I read it, unless you read it otherwise.
When a real football match for Soccerverse users, I guess, yeah. I mean, it's part of our roadmap is to get in the new match engine. There is no bit weird name for a robot when we don't have a date for it, but it is something which is basically the next major piece of work. So although we're fixing a lot of bugs and adding more, features like notification system and all this sort of stuff, the big piece of dev work, like the daddy next one, is going to be the match engine. But we haven't started it yet. But we're just working on all the economy and the engagement and all that sort of stuff in the development side. But it will come inevitably.
Nice.
Maybe by the time it does come out, that AI video generation is good enough to actually allow you to watch the match in photorealistic graphics as well. That might be like a couple of years off or something.
That'd be awesome. Be really cool.
Just to add to
Cool.
that
You go on.
question, it could possibly be that might have, just to cover the other angle, it might have been real Soccerverse users playing against real Soccerverse users somewhere.
Oh yeah,
like in a stadium.
yeah,
like
yeah.
Five-a-side.
Yeah, like a charity match or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and and if that's it, not something we thought about, but I did read that question and I thought, that would be pretty good. Getting a bit old now, but should still beat everybody. No, I'm only joking.
Cool. Cool. Next question from Akidral. Have you considered adding an option for players to watch commercials in exchange for an SVC? Could be a way for new players to gain some in-game currency and get started. I'll pass the point. Andy C, maybe?
Yeah, not really. I mean, one thing what we've tried to, prevent in this game, which is like something you see in all other blockchain games as well, is a way where if you create, if you get free stuff, obviously there's like some this issue with the low-end transfer market, people transferring clubs or whatever, money. But if you have a game where you can create millions of accounts and stuff, and you can make real money from it, it will be just abused like that, and that one I can see as being one. But also, they're not going to be the right type of people. Also, we don't have any SVC to give, because obviously when it launched, we started with 0 SVC in circulation. So the only people that can get SVC in this game is people that were like in the the original investors, the people that have bought packs, and also like the testers who got airdrops, and also these other people as well. But there's no way of, you don't get free stuff by creating millions of accounts in the way that that sort of way. But yeah, I don't know. It's something we can look into, but there's no plan for that.
Cool. Another one from Akidral. Have you considered adding achievement-based rewards, like managing the same club for 10 seasons or win 5 games in a row, or anything, to be honest with you?
Just before Andy answers that. Oh, go on. No, go on.
Sorry. I just
No,
to say
no,
we maybe in the achievements, but not so much rewards. I don't think.
Exactly.
We have achievements of like you get in real football, best manager of the month. There'll be things like that we can do. Yeah.
Yeah. So just to add to that, so the achievement system is something which we will be working on this season, and we're hoping to have that in for season 2. And with that, because everything is tracked on chain, you can have things like this person's first trade, this person's 100th trade. So then you can actually have a proper games achievement system. You've won your first match, or like that one could be you have win 5 games in a row, or you've managed the same club for 10 seasons. Those ones we can easily add in. So the winning 5 games in a row and win streaks is something that is in our game design document for the achievement system. So yeah, I mean, I don't see why managing a club for 10 seasons as well. But as for the rewards for them, that potentially, we do something manual, not in a decentralized way, but we could look at that as well, definitely. first club to win 10 games in a row gets $100 worth of packs or something like that. We could probably do something like that pretty soon as well, because it's like a manual process, but can be verified on chain and in the game.
Nice. And yeah, actually, just to quickly add to that as well. I mean, yeah, obviously, achievement-based rewards in game is would be great and positive, as kind of Andy was saying. But also, even just from our perspective, we'll look to do a bit more giveaways, etc. Just generally for rewarding, right? Whether that's look at the leaderboards, etc. and having management, and that it's always mentioned internally. But there's a pipe dream of at the end of the year or end of seasons that we have a cup presentation or trophy presentation, etc. And the ambition is to have that stuff live. So again, a lot of stuff that we're definitely thinking of at the moment. Cool. This question from a couple of them. Santa Claus. Any plans of when a shortlist for players to be followed will be added to the game?
That's a coincidence. I'm sure we were just talking about that. Weren't we about 3 days ago, Andy? About what I read.
Right, yeah, we were talking about.
Yeah. So I guess like one thing that we're working on at the moment, and it should be ready pretty soon. Obviously, we've got to go through testing and QA processes and things, but that's the notification system. Not the notification in the bell or the push notifications, but you'll be able to go into your settings, go to notifications, and then link to your Discord or your WhatsApp or your Telegram or email, and you will receive that notification, so you could get like a weekly report and also an on-demand one, like maybe you're a manager of a club and one of your players has been made unhappy or you're being voted out, so you get like these alerts by whichever system you check. But also using that same thing, what we can do is we can add a watch list, so you could go to a club, well, maybe a club, maybe a manager, or maybe a player, or maybe all three, and then you can sort of click watch, and then anything events what happen with those, you will also get those within your weekly report or on demand if it's something serious. So you'll be able to do that. Yeah.
Nice.
The actual following might be a bit later. We'll release a normal notification thing first, in case we've got some other priorities what pop up in the meantime. But that's coming anyway.
Cool, great stuff. And kind of just to round off the AMA questions, well, the ones that were in the channel. A big one, again from Santa Claus. What is the current number of managers in game?
All right, 1 second. So total managers is 1,717, but we do have like something like 300 of those are inactive. So it's about 1,500, and then of course some of those are locked as well. So the numbers are increasing, steadily increasing since launch, which is obviously like a really good sign. People probably referring each other and things, and we're Leslie's working hard to get those numbers higher as well.
Yeah, and then just add to that as well also is, and that kind of brings us to, in theory, again, one of the slides that Andy G presented in the presentation earlier is, the sense of community, but also the engagement is really important. The in-game chat and in-game social interactions. Ultimately, you guys can help with that also. I know you do anyway, but it's more that helping new users through. It's making sure that they know how to play a little bit, but also they're asking questions and they're making transfers and using their in-game chat, as well as interacting in Discord. But I mean, again, we're really pushing hard to ensure that the whole entire ecosystem and all the community base is definitely driving that, and obviously speaking together. And ultimately, we do want more new users, but also we need managers that are unlocked really to make sure the game ticks, but also things like the transfer market, etc. is running at full capacity. So yeah, I think lots of positive stuff on that one. But yeah, it's a really great number to kind of start off with. Not even 4 weeks in, kind of getting towards your halfway mark, surely closely of the managers filled. Cool. Okay, and then what? I'm just gonna add a few live questions as well that we've kind of just got in the chat. Again, any others, feel free to drop in. We got one from, again, I'm going to butcher this username, but it's from Aaron Dinol something. Quite easy, quick one. What happens to influence when you have it on a player that is retiring?
Nothing. You will still have the influence, and people might even like trade it with you for SVC or whatever. So it still exists. The thing is, though, what happens to it when a player retires in real life, we will flag him as retired in this game as well, which means a few things happen. He can't be bought and sold by clubs on the transfer market, so he kind of like even goes on the free bench. So he still exists in the game, but clubs can't buy him, and they can't play. They can't then buy him, so he won't play. And because he doesn't play, he won't be getting any SVC payouts for the player influence holders. So people might keep him for a whole number of reasons, but he just won't be creating any SVC from the point he's retired in the game. And that's what we do.
Just on that as well, yeah. So there's nothing fixed yet, but obviously it's got like it could have some collector's value, but there has been some talks and things that there might be another use for it in future. If you've got some superstar who was one of the best players in the world, and then you've got him, maybe they could be used for training or being an assistant manager or something like that. But there's nothing fixed there. But we do want to make it so there is some usability still in them, and then also there is a little bit off topic a bit, but when someone does retire, there is a chance that they actually can come back as well. That's right, isn't it, Andy?
Yeah, that's possible. If it happens, if they come back in real life, we'd activate them again, so clubs can buy him in the game.
Yeah, and obviously, like the criteria for being retired is, we need to really try and do this in an automated way. Well, we will do it in an automated way, but there's going to have to be some manual checking in there as well. And there could be some errors, but it would be something like this player has not played a game in real life for 2 years or something like that. So the actual fixed number for that we've still to sort out by the end of the season, but yeah, it could be that if this player's not played real life in 2 years, so that's why I was mentioning about they can come back, because it could be that someone's maybe not played for 2 or 3 years, and maybe they had a very bad injury, or maybe they did retire, but then they come back in football and they're playing for another club, and so then they would have to come out of retirement in the game as well.
Nice. Cool. And then one from our good friend Sapone. Please can you explain in general lines how the game engine works, such as how the occasions are generated, what's behind the comments, if there are any stats versus stats of the individual players, or stats versus stats on the zones, how about possession impact and how possession works, who's given this, etc., etc. I won't go through them all, but again, I think just overall, really, it's just a high-level explanation, a general line on how the game engine works.
Yeah, so it's basically, there's a lot of parts to that, but the skills get added up. So there'll be a team defensive skill, an overall team midfield skill, an overall team attacking skill, and then each individual player's got its skills. And then on various plays, if it's, there might be, they'll compete with each other. If it's a shot, he'll just compete against the goalkeeper's skills. And it's like that, really. So there's these different numbers are then used in different, when they're competing against each other. So the chance of a shot will be based on the defence of the other team and things like that. But yeah, everything's going to get open source, so people will be able to drill down. And we could potentially also at some point maybe write up, try to explain that. But it'll be open source for people to study themselves. Eventually, you'll be able to do that.
Also
Nice.
noting as well, just before you carry on there, is like when the match engine is replaced, obviously it will be fresh as well.
Cool. Okay. That's all the questions. So again, really appreciate all the questions coming in, not just live, but obviously in the AMA channel. Just before I hand it back over to the guys, just a final kind of piece from my side, really. Again, really appreciate all your support and obviously all engagement and playing in the game. It's going super well. We're really happy about where we're at with it. Again, I think my only last points really is, if any of you have friends, family, etc., who wants to play the game or are interested in similar games, etc., feel free to invite them along, help them in, sharpen them in, show them our beginners guides, etc., and more content that'll be coming out. Follow our socials, all that kind of good stuff, again, to hopefully elevate our user base, but ultimately get our name across, or kind of Soccerverse across the entire world. So just a final piece on my side. So any other closing remarks from you guys?
Nope, not from me, but thank you very much for coming to listen again, and hopefully you learned something.
Cool. Awesome. Again, thank you very much, guys. Feel free to chat and continue. Again, a huge round of games this evening, so I'm sure you're just digesting all the scores, etc. So, but yeah, we'll do one again, hopefully very soon. Again, we want to do this more regularly. So again, thanks again for joining this evening. And see you all soon. Cool. Cheers, guys.
Thank you very much, guys.
Bye-bye.
Right.